Now, if you follow my channel, you know I love mobile workstations. I've reviewed the P1 from the ThinkPad line all the way to the Precision line that we're going to look at here today. And it's one from Dell that came in that really piqued my interest because it's one I haven't seen before. It takes all the great things of the design of the previous XPS line and brings it to the Precision line into what I would call the XPS 14 on steroids. Yes, I'm talking about the Dell Precision 5470 mobile workstation, brand new for 2022. Now this has the Core i9-12900H, a 45-watt CPU. It has the RTX A1000 GPU from NVIDIA. Yes, this packs a punch. Throw in a QHD Plus touchscreen display that supports not only touch but pen support, and a gorgeous design with a great keyboard and touchpad and a 72 watt-hour battery. Let's find out if this all comes together to make this the ultimate mobile workstation. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the Dell Precision 5470 mobile workstation here for 2022. Coming up.
Now, before we get to the unboxing, I want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Dell, I'm not being sponsored by Dell. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Dell is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit is on loan from Dell, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Pricing starts at $1,932.05. For those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. Now, when you're looking at the pricing, you must keep something in mind. This is a mobile workstation geared towards professionals in highly specialized jobs, so they don't mind paying the premium as long as it's the right tool for the job. With that being said, when you look at this, any consumer would certainly salivate over this, especially if you ever wanted an XPS 14 that is pumped up on steroids. That's exactly what you get here, ladies and gentlemen. And here's what you can expect with the Precision 5470. It's powered by up to a 12th gen Intel Core i9-12900H, a 45-watt powerful CPU. A 14-inch QHD Plus option here, 2560 by 1600, touch display, running at 60 Hz, and it comes in at 500 nits. It also is powered by the NVIDIA RTX A1000 discrete GPU, and it has 4 USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports. You can also configure this with up to 64 gigabytes of LPDDR5 5200 MHz RAM and fast PCIe Gen 4 storage. In fact, up to 4 terabytes of storage. Really nice. And it packs a 4-cell 72 watt-hour battery. And with the specs and pricing out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. So far, very similar packaging we saw with the XPS. And of course, this time it does say Precision there. You can see it there. Okay. And again, recyclable material here, which you like to see. Welcome to Dell. Let's do great things. Again, very, very similar. And I can tell you it has a little bit of heft. We'll get to the unit in a moment. But of course, this is the Precision 5470. We get some documentation and warranty information right there. All right, so we also get that adapter that we got, of course, and that is the HDMI USB-A, and it's got Dell branding on it. And then, of course, you get those extra ports. And then, of course, we saw this power charger before, and this is 130 watts. We saw that with the XPS 15, and I believe the 17 as well. So we've seen this one before. Again, very compact for a 130 watt power adapter, the extension cord to go with that. Now we'll put it back in the box when we're done because I already have a 130 watt adapter ready to go. So very nice recycled material used here. Good packaging once again, nice presentation. All right, now let's get to the star of the show, as they say, and let's take this cloth off. And wow, that looks nice. Nice, like grayish silver. Now, holding this for the first time, the first thing that comes to mind really is how very similar it is to the XPS line in some ways and how different it is in other ways. It has that really high-end premium XPS feel, but it feels a little bit more substantial, not heavy in the sense that it's too heavy, but it feels like this is packing a punch under the hood, which of course it is. Okay, let's check out the port selection. On the left side is a 3.5mm microphone headphone combo jack, 2 USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports that are full function, supporting data, charge, and display out. And towards the front is the space for the optional smart card reader. Moving over to the right side is a micro SD card reader, 2 more USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports that are also full function, and finally a Kensington lock port to round out the ports on this laptop. Notably missing, there's no USB-A or HDMI port. Luckily, they give you that hub in the box with those missing ports. Now, to get inside this mobile workstation, there are 8 T5 Torx screws. Remove them. Use a guitar pick or pry tool to pry off the bottom plate. Once you do that, you're in. Now, once inside, the first thing you notice the 2 fans for cooling. We'll get into the cooling and the surface temperatures and fan noise later on in this review. And you'll also notice that 4-cell 72 watt-hour battery. We'll get into the battery life and charging times later on as well. Now, as far as the SSD is concerned, you'll notice a nice copper plate protecting that, and it is a PCIe Gen 4. Now, my review unit has 1 terabyte of SSD storage, and judging by these reads and writes, these are super fast, really good results here, as you can see. And as I mentioned earlier, this can be configured with up to 64 gigabytes of LPDDR5 5200 megahertz RAM. That's fast RAM, and my unit has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and it is running in dual channel mode. Now, it is integrated or soldered into the motherboard, so you as the user cannot upgrade it. So make sure you get enough RAM for your needs when you're checking out. Now, as far as wireless is concerned, this is Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2. They're both working very well, no issues on either front, and it is soldered into the motherboard, so it won't be able to be swapped out later on if you need it to. But it is Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2, and both are working really well. Okay, let's talk about one of the stars of the show, and that has to be this display. What we're looking at here is a 14-inch QHD Plus resolution. It's an IPS display with a resolution of 2560 by 1600. It's a 60 Hz display with an anti-reflective coating on it. It's a touch display with pen support, and it has 100% sRGB and can get as bright as 500 nits. Now, this display is really excellent. Now, it has the really deep blacks, the good white point, the excellent contrast. It has the good color accuracy with a 1.27 Delta E score. Remember, anything below 2 is considered color accurate. This doesn't disappoint and has really good coverage of the color gamut. We're looking at 100% sRGB, 80% Adobe RGB, 80% of the DCI P3 wide color gamut, 75% NTSC, making this a good choice if you are a content creator, a mobile professional that needs to get video work done. So it's going to be good for color grading, Lightroom, Photoshop, and of course, as I mentioned, video editing. Now, this is a TÜV Rheinland certified display, and it has a low blue light filter, helping reduces the chances of eye strain. You gotta like that. And it's a really bright display. Now, Dell claims that this will get as bright as 500 nits. I actually measured above that. I measured 527 nits, even better. And it has an anti-reflective coating on it, helping reduce some glare and reflections, although not totally eliminated, depending on your lighting conditions. And yes, it even has pen support. Now, if you want to jot down a note or even sketch out a diagram of some artwork, you have that option. Even though it's not a convertible, it's a nice convenience feature to have. And it is compatible with the pen that Dell sent over for me to check out, along with that Latitude 9430. And yeah, this laptop keeps giving us a lot of surprises. And in addition to the pen, you can also use your finger. Now, my overall takeaway, this is a great IPS display, but of course, it would have been great to have an OLED option for those that wanted it, although that would, of course, take a hit in terms of the battery life. So I understand going with this QHD Plus is the nice compromise in a sense, and it also is a 60 Hz display. Would have been nice to have a higher refresh rate option here in 2022. Again, battery life is probably the main consideration. And of course, this is a mobile workstation geared towards professionals, businesses, enterprises even. So they're not going to really care for the high refresh rate and all that. They just want to make sure that this gets the job done with a nice color accurate display that covers the color gamut really well. Now, there's also a Full HD Plus non-touch option that Dell offers, 1920 by 1200, and I would imagine that one would do a little bit better in battery life, but the battery life on this actually has been surprisingly good. And speaking of the battery life, this sports a 72 watt-hour battery, and it did 12 hours and 3 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 150 nits. That translates to about 8 to 9 hours in real-world mixed usage, and considering all the power this is packing under the hood, that's actually pretty good. But of course, everybody's use case is a little bit different, so your mileage may vary. And it supports express charge with the included 130-watt USB-C power adapter, giving you a full charge in about an hour and 25 minutes. Pretty good. So this is the brand new camera on the Dell Precision 5470, what I like to call the XPS 14 on steroids. But of course, all joking aside, this is a real nice powerhouse from Dell and their Precision line, a mobile workstation. Now this is a 720p camera. Actually not too bad for a 720p camera, but of course here in 2022 we'd like to see 1080p. But this is one of the better 720p cameras we'll get. Now it is an IR camera. That means you can log in with face recognition. And there's also a fingerprint scanner for logging in with Windows Hello. So you have the two ways to log in, of course, so that's pretty good. And that worked well. But there is no shutter switch for the camera. I would like to have that, especially on a professional mobile workstation here. But what do you think about the video quality? What do you think about the audio quality of the internal mic? So let me know in the comment section below. I think it's actually pretty good. Again, I want to know what you think. Let me know. Now, the hinges are pretty nice on this, nice and sturdy, and you can go as far back as you see here, so pretty good viewing angles as well. And for those wondering, yes, you can just about open this up with one finger. And I'm really liking this keyboard. It has really good tactility and has some really decent key travel on it, making it really comfortable to type on for extended periods of time. It also has a nice multi-stage backlight. The keys light up white here, so it allows you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. Very good for productivity and very good overall. I would say this keyboard has certainly surpassed any of my expectations coming into this. Nice job. And it has a really nice glass precision touchpad that was very responsive when it comes to scrolling, and all the gestures work as you'd expect. Good job on that front as well. And the built-in NFC is also located within the touchpad. All right, let's talk performance, and this is packing the Core i9-12900H, a 45-watt CPU with 14 cores. That's 8 efficiency cores and 6 performance cores, and the performance here was very good, as you can see from these numbers. It had very good single core and multi-core performance, and especially when you compare it to some of the competition, it was right up there. And that's pretty impressive considering this is a 14-inch mobile workstation, and it also has the RTX A1000 discrete GPU. That's going to certainly help with things like video editing and professional applications such as CAD, 3D rendering, medical imaging, and the like. And I thought it did really well in the Cinebench R23, which is a heavy sustained workload, which will account for any kind of thermal throttling. Very impressive scores indeed, both the single and multi-core score of the Cinebench R23. So this is definitely a performer, and this is a really impressive, again, in a small, light package, packing a punch under the hood. There's no doubt about it here. Now, this RTX A1000 is the equivalent, I would say, of an RTX 3050 discrete GPU, so you can definitely get playable frame rates on certain games if you lower the titles. I've done plenty on the RTX 3050 to give you an idea of what you can expect with this mobile workstation, which of course is a professional workstation, not a gaming laptop, but I think you already know that. But you could definitely play a game when you're not working. And when I ran the Prime 95 stress test to see if this will thermal throttle under heavy load, it would reach a core temperature of around 100 degrees Celsius, and then it would throttle down to a more comfortable temperature, anywhere between 68 and 80 degrees. It would fluctuate between that, a much more manageable temperature, of course, and it would reduce the performance, but I didn't find a big reduction in performance, as evidenced by the good numbers we saw on the benchmarks, especially with the Cinebench R23, which is a heavy sustained workload test, which accounts for thermal throttling. So a good job in terms of the thermals here. And I thought they did a good job when it comes to the surface temperatures. Even when you push it under heavy load, it never got overly hot, never too hot to the touch, with a couple of hot spots above the keyboard, below the display, and on the underside as you see here, but stayed relatively cool throughout, even under maximum load. And when it comes to the fan noise, it never got above 46 to 48 decibels in the ultra performance mode, but in the other modes, it was really quiet and stayed relatively cool as well during that time. So pretty nice quiet experience most part on this laptop. But again, if you push it, you will hear those fans. And I like the fact that Dell gives you a lot of control at your fingertips through the thermal management. That's through the Dell Power Manager app. And I like that. You can control the different modes. You have optimized, cool, quiet, and what I have here now, ultra performance. Okay, people, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Dell Precision 5470 mobile workstation here in 2022? To me, this is the XPS 14 that we all want and we all need, but this thing is pretty awesome. Now, I love the stunning 14-inch QHD Plus touch display that not only is a touch display, but it has pen support. It's elegant and has a sleek design. It's got an excellent keyboard and touchpad, strong CPU performance out of that Core i9. It's got the up to 4 terabytes of PCIe Gen 4 SSD storage, and that is user upgradable, up to 64 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM, and that is not user upgradable, of course. Powerful quad speakers that fill up the room really nicely, nice and rich. Impressive battery life, especially for a mobile workstation that packs a punch. 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and I love the fact 2 are on each side of each other, not all on the same side, of course. There's no USB-A, no HDMI, but they do give you the adapter in the box. No webcam shutter, of course. The RAM, the Wi-Fi, and the Bluetooth are all soldered or integrated into the motherboard, not user upgradable, and of course, this can get very expensive. But Dell pretty much nailed this and hit it out of the park and then some. I'm going to give this a score of 92%, making the Dell Precision 5470, aka the XPS 14 on steroids, definitely worth your money.
So what do you think about this baby? The Dell XPS, Dell Precision 5470. I almost caught myself there. I almost said it. The XPS 14 on steroids is what I really want to say. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's a powerhouse. It's beautiful. It's thin. It's light. Considering it is a mobile workstation, this thing really does pack the punch. Now, I like this dark gray finish, and I like the carbon fiber black deck in the interior, of course, very comfortable to type on. We've seen it before in the XPSs. And this is a really nice machine. We got the Core i9 here, 12900H, the RTX A1000, the performance, the portability, it's all there. The display, 14 inches, QHD Plus, 2560 by 1600. Very, very nice, a really bright display, 527 nits. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't have to say more. Really good performance. Like I said, battery life is really good. And that's thanks to the 72 watt hour battery that this has, scoring over 12 hours on my continuous web surfing test. This is an 8 to 9 hour device, depending on what you're doing in terms of mixed use. But of course, your mileage may vary. Everybody's use case is a little bit different. What do you think about the Dell Precision 5470? Is this the XPS 14 built up on steroids? I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.